Hello, third grade. Today we're going over our reading comprehension strategies. Our first comprehension strategy is ask and answer questions. As we read, we want to ask ourselves questions and then look for details to support our answers. Today we're going to look at this section of Spring in the City, this a part of the story we read yesterday. Think of a question and then read to find the answer. See here it says, I have a question. Why are there so many plants in Kiku's house? I read that they did not have a yard. Mama and Papa planted lots of seeds. Okay, so if you are developing questions as you read, it helps you pay attention and make sure that you know what the answers to those questions are. Our second comprehension strategy for today is sequencing. Sequencing is the order in which important events take place. So you're going to look for words like first, next, then, and finally. These signal words show the sequence of events. So for example, yesterday in our text we read that first Mama and Papa planted a lot of seeds. So that would be something that goes first. Then you have what comes next. Then they hung pots from hooks. Let's take a look at sequencing in that story. Here's those four words again. We are looking for first, next, then, and finally. Those are kind of your keys, your tip-offs to where in the sequence we are. So, we're going to look for those words as we read through this section. Room to grow. Our new home in Portland had no backyard. There wasn't even a tiny plot of land. So Mama made an indoor garden. First, she and Papa planted seeds in pots. Then, they hung them from hooks. Next, they crammed plants onto shelves. Green vines tumbled over desks. Soon, our house had plants everywhere. So, if we take and look at that, you can see we had first, then, next. All right, there was no finally in this one, and that's okay. We don't always need to have all four of those words, but those words are kind of our tip-offs to where we are in the sequence. So, once again, first, they planted seeds. Then, they hung pots from hooks. And then next, they crammed the plants onto the shelves, and green vines tumbled over the desks. All right, to practice sequencing today, your assignment is an IXL. So what you're going to need, when you go into your Google Classroom, the second thing you have is your IXL assignment. Make sure at the top here it says your name. See how it says welcome Megan Mackey? That's because that's my name. This should have your name here. If it says sign in, make sure you click sign in up there and then click sign in with Google and click your name so that I can see it on my side. Okay, so let me show you that. If yours doesn't see that, you want to click sign in. If yours is up here, you're going to click sign in at the top and then choose sign in with Google and click your name. All right, let me get back to where I was. Yours will take you right here. We are putting sentences in order. All right. Now, remember, you can always listen to these, but we're going to read these three sentences. He wrote his most famous book, Cat in the Hat, 20 years later. He wrote his first children's book in 1937. And Dr. Seuss was a famous writer. Well, the one that has Dr. Seuss's name in it, we need to put first. So first, Dr. Seuss was a famous writer. Then he wrote his first children's book in 1937. And then he wrote his most famous book 20 years later. All right, so he's a famous writer here. Then we have first. Then we have 20 years later, next. All right, let's look at another one. We were thrilled to see a few humpback whales later when we got farther out to sea. See, this is later. This can't be the first sentence. A pod of dolphins greeted us as soon as we got out to the open water, and we went whale watching this morning. Well, we went whale watching this morning is what comes first, right? That's what they're doing. Then we have a pod of dolphins greeted us as soon as we got out to open water, right? That happens earlier. And then last, we were thrilled to see a few humpback whales later when we got farther out to sea. Later was our key word there. All right? You'll have some problems that look like that. You also might start to have some that have before here. Notice this one says next, so that one cannot be first. Let's read those sentences. Meg was feeling sick after all the rides, though, so we decided to leave. We went on the giant Ferris wheel as soon as we got there. Meg and I spent the afternoon at the carnival. Next, we went on a few rides that spun around and went upside down. Well, our main topic is that Meg and I spent the afternoon at the carnival, so that would have to go first, right? As soon as we got there, that would come next, right? Then we'd go next, we went on a few rides that spun around and went upside down, and then finally you get to Meg was feeling sick, so we decided to leave, right? That would happen at the end of the day. All right? Now, when you get to the end, you might have these where you have 5 of them. Look here, we see finally. I know that one's going to be last. If you want a tasty, healthy treat, why not try making a smoothie? Start by gathering fresh fruit, yogurt, and ice. Well, see that keyword start? That tells me that that has to be first. Next, it says put the fruit, yogurt, ice into a blender. That keyword next is what helps us know that that's what's coming. Then, after you put it into a blender, you have to blend everything and finally pour it into a glass. All right? Now remember, when you're working on IXL, you're trying to make sure that you're working to a score of 80 right here, or for a time of 30 minutes, okay? If you've worked really hard for 30 minutes and you're at a 40, or if you're at a 60, that's still an A+ in my book, right? We're going for trying really, really hard and doing your best work. Good luck on your assignment. Make sure you check it off on your weekly checklist when you're done.